Have you ever wondered why werewolves transform under the full moon? Let's unravel the mysteries of these legendary creatures. Picture this: a full moon, a haunting howl, and a creature of the night, the werewolf. For centuries, these mythical beings have fascinated us, their stories echoing through the annals of history. From the ancient Greeks to the pages of modern literature, the werewolf has endured, its lore woven into the fabric of our collective consciousness. But why the full moon? And why the howl? These are the questions that have intrigued scholars and enthusiasts alike. Our journey begins with a look at the concept of werewolves, their origins, their connection to the lunar cycle, and the enduring allure of their tales. We'll delve into the symbolism, the mythology, and the psychology behind these fascinating creatures. So fasten your seatbelts, folks. Prepare to embark on a journey through time, from ancient civilizations to the present day. The tale of the werewolf has its roots in ancient civilizations. The concept of man transforming into beast under the light of the full moon is not a recent fascination. The ancient civilizations, including the Greeks and Romans, held profound beliefs and depictions of these creatures. The Greeks narrated stories of Lycaon, a king who was turned into a wolf by Zeus as punishment for his wicked deeds. This tale not only introduced the concept of the werewolf, but also served as a moral lesson, reminding people of the dire consequences of evil actions. In contrast, the Romans revered these creatures, viewing them as symbols of power and strength. Romulus and Remus, the legendary founders of Rome, were said to be nursed by a she-wolf. This tale highlighted the wolf as a nurturing and protective entity, a stark contrast to the monstrous image we often associate with werewolves today. Across the globe, in ancient Norse mythology, werewolves were depicted as warriors. The infamous berserkers, renowned for their ferocity in battle, were said to don wolf pelts, believing it granted them the strength and savagery of the beast. And let's not forget the Native American folklore, where werewolves were seen as spiritual guides. They were the shapeshifters, individuals who could transform into any animal at will, using this ability to protect their tribes and maintain harmony with nature. As diverse as these beliefs were, they all shared a common thread. The werewolf was a symbol of transformation, an embodiment of the primal instincts within us. It served as a mirror, reflecting our innermost fears and desires, our potential for both savagery and nobility. And so the legend of the werewolf was born, woven into the fabric of our collective consciousness. It morphed, evolved, and adapted to the changing times, reflecting the cultural, social, and psychological aspects of the societies that birthed these narratives. As centuries passed, the narrative of the werewolf evolved, taking on new forms and meanings. The tales of yore have shaped the werewolf we know today, a creature that continues to captivate our imagination, inviting us to explore the beast within. But in the Middle Ages, it brought a darker perception of werewolves, associating them with evil and witchcraft. As Europe plunged into a time of superstition and fear, the werewolf narratives took a sinister turn. These mythical creatures were no longer seen as mere shapeshifters, but as malevolent entities that reveled in chaos and destruction. During the Middle Ages, werewolves were often linked to the devil and demonic possession. The Church, playing a significant role in shaping societal norms, reinforced this belief. Werewolves were seen as heretics, individuals who had forsaken their humanity to indulge in their basest, most bestial instincts. This fear was so pervasive that it led to werewolf trials. Similar to the infamous witch trials, accused individuals were subjected to brutal interrogations and inhumane punishments, all based on the suspicion that they could transform into wolves. The hysteria was so rampant that it wasn't uncommon for entire villages to be accused and persecuted. However, as we moved into the period of enlightenment, the narrative began to shift. Rational thought and scientific inquiry started to challenge these deep-seated fears. Werewolves began to be seen from a different perspective. Scholars and philosophers proposed that these transformations were not literal but symbolic, representing the duality of human nature, the constant battle between our civilized selves and our untamed instincts. This period marked a turning point in the werewolf lore. The Enlightenment brought about a sense of skepticism and a demand for empirical evidence. The fear of werewolves began to wane, and these creatures started to be seen as misunderstood beings, victims of societal prejudice and fear. Still, the image of the werewolf as a terrifying monster persisted, and it would take centuries for this perception to change significantly. This shift, however, was an important one. It marked the start of a journey towards understanding and empathizing with these mythical creatures, setting the stage for their transformation in literature and cinema. Yet, as society evolved, so did our understanding and portrayal of these mythical beings. The journey from fear to understanding was a long one, but it was a journey that would forever change the way we see werewolves. Literature and cinema brought a new dimension to the werewolf, adding complexity to their characters. Let's start by taking a bite into the literary world where the werewolf has found a comfortable lair. One of the most influential werewolf stories is Guy Endor's The Werewolf of Paris. Published in the early 20th century, this novel dives into the psychological aspects of the werewolf, presenting the creature as a tragic figure rather than a mindless beast. Then there's The Howling, a novel by Gary Brandner that was later adapted into a successful film series. This tale introduced a whole pack of werewolves, transforming the solitary monster into a social creature with a complex hierarchy. But it's not just horror where our furry friends have left their paw prints. They've also explored other genres. In the fantasy series Harry Potter, the character Remus Lupin is a werewolf who struggles with his identity, but is ultimately accepted by his community, offering a powerful message about acceptance. In the realm of romance, the Twilight series by Stephanie Meyer took a bite out of the traditional werewolf narrative. Here, werewolves are protectors, not monsters, and their transformation is tied to their emotions, adding an intriguing layer of complexity. And let's not forget comedy. Teen Wolf, both the film and the subsequent television series, presented a werewolf as the ultimate high school outsider trying to fit in, which resonated with anyone who's ever felt out of place. Now, let's switch the channel to cinema. Werewolves have been howling on the big screen since as early as the 1930s, with Werewolf of London being the first mainstream Hollywood werewolf film. But it was The Wolfman in the early 40s that truly cemented the werewolf's place in popular culture. Its blend of psychological horror and tragic romance made it a classic, and its influence can still be seen in many werewolf films today. Fast forward to the early 80s and we see the likes of An American Werewolf in London and The Howling, which both elevated the werewolf genre by combining horror with elements of comedy and romance. More recently, films like Ginger Snaps and Underworld have continued to push the boundaries, exploring themes of identity, transformation, and the human-animal divide. These films have shown that the werewolf is more than just a monster. It's a symbol of our own inner struggles and desires. These stories have not only entertained us, but have also offered valuable life lessons. They've taught us about acceptance, about understanding our own dual nature, and about the importance of community. They've shown us that, like the werewolf, we too can adapt and change, and most importantly, they've reminded us that even in the face of the most terrifying transformations, we can still find the strength to howl at the moon. What can we learn from the werewolf's transformation, lunar cycles, and pack mentality? You might be surprised to know that the lore of werewolves can offer us some fascinating life lessons. Let's begin with the werewolf's transformation. It's a dramatic and often terrifying change, isn't it? But beneath the horror, there's a powerful metaphor. The werewolf transformation represents the primal instincts within us all. It's about embracing the animalistic side of our nature, the raw, untamed, and instinctual part of us that society often asks us to suppress. Yet it's this primal instinct that can drive us towards our goals, fuel our passions, and make us feel truly alive. So perhaps like the werewolf, we shouldn't be afraid of our wild side, but rather learn to embrace it. Next, let's consider the lunar cycle. Werewolves are inextricably linked with the full moon, their transformation triggered by its radiant glow. This cycle of change can teach us about adaptability. Just as the moon waxes and wanes, our lives too are filled with phases of growth, change, and retreat. We can learn from the werewolf's acceptance of this cycle. When the moon is full, they step into their power, unafraid of the transformation. And when the moon retreats, so do they, resting and rejuvenating for the next cycle. Life is never static, and like the werewolf, we must learn to adapt, to ebb and flow with the tides of change. And finally, let's take a look at the werewolf's pack mentality. Werewolves are often portrayed as the part of a pack, a community that they fiercely protect and rely on. This is a reminder of the importance of community in our own lives. Just as a werewolf finds strength in its pack, we too can find strength in the communities we belong to. Whether it's family, friends, or a group of like-minded individuals, our communities provide us with support, companionship, and a sense of belonging. They help us to weather life's storms and to celebrate our victories. So, like the werewolf, let's value our packs, our tribes, our communities. In conclusion, werewolf lore offers us valuable lessons. Embrace your primal instincts, adapt to the ever-changing cycles of life, and value the community you're part of. These are the lessons hidden within the howls and transformations of werewolves. So the next time you hear a werewolf's haunting howl or see the full moon shining brightly in the sky, remember these lessons. Just like a werewolf, we too can find strength in change and community. So let's face the world with the courage of a werewolf, ready to embrace our wild side, adapt to the cycles of life, and shine bright in the company of our pack. So how do we apply these lessons from werewolf lore in our lives? In the same way a werewolf embraces the moonlight, we too can welcome change with open arms. Change is the only constant in life, an inevitable force that shapes our existence. Sometimes it's as subtle as a waning moon, other times as dramatic as a werewolf's transformation. Instead of resisting it, we can choose to adapt, to grow, to transform. Just as a werewolf sheds its human skin, we can shed our fears and hesitations, embracing the new with courage and resilience. Adaptation, that's another lesson we can take from our hairy friends. Werewolves don't just endure their transformation, they thrive in it, harnessing their newfound strength and abilities. In the face of life's challenges, we can do the same. It's about finding the silver lining, or should I say the silver bullet, in every situation. Instead of being paralyzed by fear, let's adapt and overcome, using our challenges as stepping stones to success. And speaking of silver, there's a fun practical tip for you. In werewolf lore, silver is a well-known defense strategy. Now, we might not be warding off actual werewolves, but metaphorically, it's a reminder to arm ourselves with wisdom and knowledge. So, why not invest in some silver accessories? A silver necklace or a pair of cufflinks, perhaps? Not only will you be stylishly prepared for a werewolf encounter, but you'll also carry a symbol of resilience and adaptability. Lastly, let's not forget the value of community. Werewolves, despite their ferocious reputation, are known for their pack mentality. They understand the strength in unity, the power of collaboration. In our lives too, community is vital. It's about coming together, supporting each other, and facing challenges as a united front. So there you have it. Embrace change, adapt to circumstances, value your community, and maybe, just maybe, invest in some stylish silver accessories. And always remember, no matter what life throws at you, you have the strength to face it head on. And remember, your nights can be as epic as a werewolf transformation scene. Our journey through the world of werewolves comes to an end, but the exploration of folklore does not stop here. Today, we've traced the origins of werewolf lore from ancient civilizations through the Middle Ages and onto the Enlightenment. We've seen how this infamous creature of the night has evolved from a horror monster into a complex character in literature and cinema. Werewolves have grown to reflect our own struggles with identity, embodying our primal instincts and our ability to adapt to change. We've ventured into the realms of fantasy, romance, and even comedy, illustrating the versatility of the werewolf narrative. And let's not forget our humorous take on werewolf defense. Who knew that fashioning silver accessories could potentially ward off a creature from folklore? Most importantly, we've delved into the metaphorical significance of werewolves. The werewolf's dual nature serves as a reminder of our own complexities. Its transformation under the full moon symbolizes our capacity for change and adaptability, and the werewolf's pack mentality reinforces our need for community and connection. But as we close our chapter on werewolves, remember the world of folklore is vast and unending. There are countless other creatures and legends waiting to be explored, each holding their own unique wisdom and lessons. So let us continue this journey together, and subscribe to join us as we navigate through the enchanting and sometimes eerie waters of folklore. We'd love to hear your thoughts on our werewolf journey. Did you find it as fascinating as we did? Are there other folklore creatures you'd like us to explore? Feel free to share your thoughts and suggestions. And as you venture into the night, remember the lessons from our werewolf lore. Embrace your primal instincts, adapt to change, and value your community. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating content and share your thoughts below. Until next time, may your nights be filled with mystery and adventure.